Welcome everybody to another episode of Coda's Cove. Today we're reviewing Thunderbolts, and as promised, we got RadioSlay back with us, joining us on the Marvel content. So, Radio, what did you think of Thunderbolts?
I liked it. I did. I was excited going into it, and I left pretty satisfied. So, all in all, not a whole lot of disappointments coming out from the movie theater. What about you?
Same here. I liked it a lot. I do think it was a little overhyped. I think a lot of people are very happy with how this movie is just because of movies we've been getting from Marvel. I know a lot of people did not like Captain America Brave New World. I admittedly have still not watched it because I can't bring myself to do it. But I liked this. The plot, it was very straightforward, pretty simple plot. There was some good action sequences in here. I did really like Sentry. I thought he was very cool. The movie was fun. It was a fun Marvel movie. I haven't been able to say that probably since Shang-Chi. So I really liked it. I guess we'll just do what we did last week. If you want to go into some of your pros and cons of the movie, then we could just kind of switch and banter off of those.
All right, excellent, excellent. So the new Avengers movie. um, no, my pros to it. I like the fact that we got to see these characters put together and get some more updates on them. There's some of them we haven't seen in quite a while. And if you kept up with the TV shows and some of the other films that have come out as of late, you get to kind of see what they've been doing and get a little bit more character building with them. I mean, Yelena, we've seen in a couple movies now, or a couple Marvel projects, I should say, because obviously she was in Black Widow. She did reappear in Hawkeye, the TV series. Red Guardian, we haven't seen in quite a while. Ghost, we haven't seen in a while. So it's kind of cool to see these characters come back to the screen, either from the movies or TV, and get an update on them and get to see them develop a little bit more. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like the kind of the tone that the movie was. I'm going to use this word, and I'm not using it in a negative meaning, but I thought it was kind of goofy, right? Like it wasn't like all like, all serious and, this and that, or your traditional superhero movie, where, the bad guy strikes and the good guy fights. Good guy gets down, and then finally, the good guy gets up and beats the bad guy. It was a little bit different, right? So I liked that aspect where it wasn't so predictable. And I also liked how they, these all these different characters were trying to find themselves, right? They're all coming from, some point in their lives where they seem lost, right? You get John Walker, aka U.S. Agent, aka the old Captain America for 10 minutes. He lost his identity. Bucky's trying to figure himself out. He's trying to be, this person in politics, and now he's wrestling. Do I go back to being Winter Soldier again and getting in that world, or am I trying to straighten my life out? You can obviously tell Yelena and Red Guardian, they're going through lulls in their life, and Ghost just, it doesn't seem like she has much of like a direction after we saw her in Ant-Man and Wasp. So it's kind of cool, kind of seeing them trying to figure that part out of it. I agree with your take on the Sentry part that it was pretty cool, and we got to see that. I did enjoy the fact that his name was Bob. If you've seen Top Gun Maverick, same actor, name is Bob. So I think those are my positives of the movie, at least some of them. Negatives, I wish there was a little bit more action. There was a lot of dialogue. The sequence where they were kind of trapped within that silo, and then obviously the Thunderbolts fighting against Sentry. We didn't see a whole lot. So I wish there was a little bit more of that. I thought these characters had that potential to have some really cool action sequences they could expand upon, and I think they held that back a little bit. So hopefully we get to see some more of that of them in the future, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute here. But I think really that's my only gripe about the movie, was just wish there was a little bit more a little bit more fighting. What about you? What are your ups and downs?
Yeah, I agree. So for my pros, I already stated I really liked the plot. This was a pretty simple plot. You didn't really need to pay attention to too much, I don't think, from previous films. The character development. I like that they did focus on character development in this movie. I feel like that's been a little lackluster with previous Marvel projects beforehand. And the character development that I liked the most was, of course, Yelena, John, or U.S. Agent, even though like he still aggravates me. He's like probably my least favorite character. And Sentry, I thought his character development was very good. Yelena, like Florence Pugh, everything I watch her in now, she just does a phenomenal job. She is so good. I know a lot of people are probably going to complain that like she's basically just like Black Widow 2.0, but you know what? Florence Pugh really like steals this show. Her acting is phenomenal. Banter with Red Guardian, and you know that split relationship they have. They really do a good job of bringing them closer together, so it feels like a real father-daughter dynamic. I really like that. John, U.S. agent. I mean, he went through a really dark time after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so like he's really dealing with it. And when Sentry goes in his mind and starts showing him like his most painful memory, man, that hit that like I felt for the guy. Like even though I think he's a bit of a tool, can understand where he's coming from and why he was going through what he was going through. What I also really liked about this movie, even though it is very goofy, I do think the message that they were putting out to people about your mental health and like your state of belonging was very important. This movie gets very dark, especially when Sentry comes into play and his alter ego, the Void, comes out. It hits on some deep tones about depression and falling into like this just self destruction of yourself. And I thought they did a very good job at handling that and showing that, hey, there is help out there. Yelena helps Bob, and everybody else kind of forms a family. And like, yes, they're the new Avengers, but they feel more of like a family compared to our normal Avengers. So I really did like that. Florence Pugh and Lewis Pullman, who played Sentry, did phenomenal. And for you who don't know, I just found this out. That is actually Bill Pullman's son. So like when I saw the
Yeah.
name, I was like, it's clicking. I was like, whoa, he looks like his dad. And sure enough, it was. So he did a phenomenal job. I really liked him in Top Gun Maverick too. Like he does a very good job at playing like the shy, timid person. But I thought he did a very good job in this role. And then I'm not gonna spoil it, but that second post credit scene, whoa, baby. I am excited for what is going to be coming. So I can't now. I'm starting to get a little excited for Avengers Doomsday. The second post credit scene, folks, it's phenomenal. It will give you goosebumps. And then I have three cons, pretty similar to yours. My first one is going to be this didn't feel as fast paced as some other Marvel films. There wasn't a lot of fighting. I felt like they spent way too much time in the silo after Sentry is awakened and all that. It was very goofy. Some of U.S. agents like comedic lines I felt were very forced and they really didn't hit. Like I felt like they were trying to go for that Captain America style humor where it's like it's clean, it's goofy, it's like dad joke humor, and for me it didn't personally stick. Winter Soldier, I just feel like the Winter Soldier was kind of just thrown in this movie. I'm a huge Bucky fan. He's one of my favorite characters in the MCU, but he just feels kind of like thrown in here to be like, hey, you guys remember this guy? He was with the real Avengers. Like he's trying to be a congressman. He's battling whether he should do that, be the Winter Soldier. And then when he gets in and starts helping the Thunderbolts, you're kind of expecting him to take on a leadership role because you know he was with the Avengers. He's been through Steve Rogers with through everything, going through the pains with Thanos and everything. And it's like he really didn't. He was just in the background to show off how cool his arm is. And like, I'm sorry, I can't suspend my disbelief that his arm is stopping like a truck coming at him. Like, he's got other joints that things attached to. I'm sure he's going to be in some pain. And then my last con is actually this person behind me. What are we doing with Taskmaster? What was the point of putting her in this movie just to get freaking shot in the head? And again, we got bait and switch. This isn't Taskmaster, and she's in this movie for 20 minutes. Not even that. She just gets shot in the head. And when they're in the silo, it's like, why did they do this? What is the character development with this? What is the purpose? We've tried twice now. Nobody likes her. I don't know what they were doing with Taskmaster. That was probably my biggest gripe because she aggravated me in the Black Widow movie, and I did not really like that movie. And seeing her again and then just being worthless, I was like, I don't know what we're doing with Taskmaster. There was no point for that.
So yeah, just a couple things off your negatives, and going to Bucky first. Maybe that's kind of a glimpse of like, and maybe hopefully like hidden. That's the reason, one of the reasons why he's not Captain America. You know, we don't see him leading and being like this guy in charge. Maybe that's just not him. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he turned down the shield, or he was happy that, Sam Wilson ended up becoming Captain America. So maybe that provides some explanation there. I kind of saw the Taskmaster thing as, I know we were all disappointed. And I talked to you about this before about, the backstory of Taskmaster. They are the MCU and how they kind of fumbled that big time and could have gone a completely different direction where the fans could have been very satisfied with Taskmaster. Maybe it was just a message saying, "Hey, we here at Marvel, we screwed up. Let's just get let's just get Taskmaster, the one that you know of from the MCU, out of here. Who knows? You know, we're in the age of multiverse. Maybe we get the Taskmaster that we do want somewhere down the road." But I took that as let's just admit our mistake and get it out of here and then move on.
I can agree with that. I just wish, like, if they were going to go that route, don't even bring that character back into the movie. Like, it was just a waste of time at that point. But that's a
Mhm.
very good point on Bucky. I didn't think about that, and the more I think about it, I think you might be right. That's probably why he would have rather Sam Wilson have the shield, because he displays more of those leadership qualities that you need in a Captain America. And maybe Bucky's so worried about his past and what he's done, he just doesn't feel worthy to be a leader to everybody. So that's a very good point. All right, next we'll go to our ratings. Scale 1 to 10, or 0 if you really hated the movie. You may do fractions.
I thought about this all day today. I think I'm gonna go a solid 8 out of 10.
Really, you liked it that much, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good film overall. Again, we pointed out a couple of the mishaps, or the cons, if you would. It's not like a perfect movie. It's not Endgame or anything like that, but very I don't think any film's going to be, by the way. But I think it was a solid movie. It kind of was refreshing, as you said. We've kind of gone through several films where they were just lackluster, unfortunately. But I think it was a good way to bring these characters again back into the screen. Obviously, they're going to play some kind of role in Doomsday. We don't know what yet. No, it's definitely a movie. I wouldn't. I'll be honest. I wouldn't mind paying money again to go to the theater and watch it again. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
that's pretty high praise.
yeah.
I'm kind of stuck. I liked it. It's much better than what we've gotten, but like I would have rather watched Daredevil Born Again all over again for the first time. So like I don't want to rate it higher than when I gave Daredevil. I think I'm gonna go 6.5. I really enjoyed it. This is a better film. There's just some things in there I didn't like. Again, like I said, the Taskmaster thing, it really bugs me. The Winter Soldier feeling like he was just kind of thrown in there is a little bit of a downer for me. And then like the fight scenes with Sentry, we don't really get too many, and most of his fighting is like within his mind, and it's like supernatural type stuff, like people dodging stuff he's throwing at him. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a ding for that, but I'm gonna go 6.5. This is a very good movie. I think people will have a lot of fun watching this. This is something you can definitely kind of get a excitement for Marvel all over again, because it does feel kind of like that return to form. We got the good humor that Marvel is always able to balance so perfectly in their movies. We got very good character development. There is the setups that they're starting to do for Doomsday. Is I can sort of see the vision. I'm excited. Tell you what, I'm ready. I'm ready for Fantastic Four now after watching this, because was a little hesitant about it, just because I'm like, we've had what, 2, 3 Fantastic Four films and they've all flopped. But watching Thunderbolts, I have high hopes again. So I'm hoping this is going to be good. Pedro Pascal has never really proven me wrong in anything he's been in. So looking forward to it. I'm gonna go 6.5. Good film. Definitely go see it in theaters. I think the kids are gonna like this one.
Yeah, and hopefully this starts a trend. If you look at the films that have been released since Endgame, I think it does the peaks and valleys things. You get a good one, you get a not so good one, and it's followed that all the way up into this film. Which obviously I said it, I thought this was good. I know everybody's gonna have their own opinion, but hopefully this starts a trajectory where yes, next we get Fantastic Four, then we get Doomsday. So if they can continue this trend. And I think after Doomsday we get Spider-Man, so we're on the up and up, and hopefully we can continue to stay on the good set of movies. I think, and I'm hoping that Marvel and Disney or whatever realize that hey, we've kind of fumbled here and there, whether it was the Marvels or I know Captain America has been up and down. I thought it was an okay film, but there was a couple films out there that the Ant-Man. Quantumania. I mean,
Such a letdown. I was so
I
excited for that movie.
yeah, and it's just, I mean, you can almost and some of that had to do with the legal things with Jonathan Majors, but you can almost erase that from MCU, and it has nothing to do with anything in the storyline
I
at
almost
this
feel like
point.
that with Doctor
So
Strange too. The Multiverse of Madness, huge letdown. I was excited for that, and we got the multiverse for like 30 seconds.
yeah, there's some good parts of that film, for sure. But I mean, I definitely liked Scarlet Witch in that. I think she did a fantastic job. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Illuminati thing, I think that it was just what the heck.
Yeah, it was like a cool, like, look what we can do. I know you guys been wanting this. Here you go. Oh, they're dead. Like,
Yeah,
thanks.
in
That's
like
what we
five
wanted.
seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point is, yeah, hopefully this kickstarts a trend, and hopefully the next several Marvel films, which obviously have big names and titles to it, really come home, and hopefully we don't have a letdown with Fantastic Four. So definitely excited, and like you said, Pedro Pascal, amazing actor. Looking forward to it, and I know there was initial questions. I don't want to spoil that part, so I'll just leave it be, and we'll wait until folks see it and we see Fantastic Four.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a good point. If they can continue to go upwards right now, like the way they're doing, and they cap everything off with Spider-Man, Marvel's going to be sitting good for a few years. Like the fans are going to come back in droves because Spider-Man, it don't matter where Marvel's at, Spider-Man's going to draw in crowds all the time. Spider-Man is basically like Marvel's Batman, like popularity wise, if you ask me. So it's exciting to see where this is going. I'm so glad we are going on the upward path right now. We're not back in another valley. So all right, everybody, that is another episode of Coda's Cove. We'll be looking forward to having Radio come back when we go and see Fantastic Four First Steps. Cannot wait to see Galactus and him not be a giant weed cloud. That'll be cool. So have a good one, everyone. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll drop Radio's links again in the description of the video. You can follow him on Twitch at RadioSlay. You can follow him at X at RadioSlay. So go on, show some love, go join him in the streams. Thanks, everybody.